Hello, Divine Souls, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Journey of Soul Mastery. I am your host, Rebekah Cortez. If you're new to this channel, the emphasis is empowerment, empowering your states of existence, and the focus of this video is karma and the art of relationships. So let's get started. It is so important for us to elevate our understanding of dynamics, interactions, and relationships we experience, and the roles that they all serve, both in our journey personally and collectively through this life. The version of ourselves we choose to project into the world throughout all encounters we face in each life we live is also significant in the ending of or perpetuation of karmic cycles, either to the positive and lighted or to the negative and darkness that is wielded in creation through our choices. In all experiences, we are either the teacher or the student, and that role can shift with each independent encounter we have. We all have different purposeful intentions for incarnating here to be part of the collective human experience. One main purpose of all incarnated life cycles is karma. Karma is constantly being generated through our free will of choice. Behind every intention, thought, action, tangibly and intangibly, both internally and externally. Some incarnated intentions might be to heal karmic cycles. We all come here with the co-created intention to learn and evolve, and we accomplish this through the manifested opportunities of experiences of the collective human experience. Experiences of each life assist in our growth and expansion for our willingness, by our willingness or unwillingness to elevate our perspective or core belief systems. If we don't go into the shadows of all that is in opposition of our light and divinity, we will not be successful at opening our hearts to anchor love and reclaim our lighted potential. Our willingness or unwillingness to take an active role in our personal growth and spiritual expansion will either hinder us or motivate us in identifying the value we gain from all experiences. All incarnations are the purpose of embodying our divine ability of alchemy. Alchemy is a universal transmutation process, and we all have the divine ability to transmute negative energies into positive and dissolve negative or dark karmic attachments acquired from current and past lives through the alchemic process. Alchemy is the wielding of energy to shift, heal, and elevate all negative energy attachments into positive elements to elevate our conscious states that embody our sovereign light, so love becomes the driving force behind our intentions that are wielded into all forms of action, regardless if it is internal or external. Dynamics we encounter, regardless if they're committed relationships or just temporary interactions, are valuable because they mirror what our core state of being is. For example, if we are choosing to operate from love, we will extend conduct that will mirror that love through friendliness, kindness, and positive interactions. But if we're choosing fear, we will conduct ourselves in defensive, unkind, abusive, hostile, or arrogant ways that mirror the internal lack of balance. It is my intention to assist you in understanding the importance of elevating your perspectives and to eliminate coincidence as part of your mindset regarding experiences that you have in your journey through life, because everything has meaning. We just need to be thirsty enough to want to seek truth and meaning within the experiences that we have. Interactions on all levels we experience extend the opportunity to elevate the art of relating through diversity, to serve multiple purposes in our development and expansion as individuals, but also on a collective level to end dysfunctional interaction and elevate our projection of light, love, truth, and authenticity in the world. Karma is a vast topic that has such a substantial depth. But in a nutshell, it is what is created resulting from all manner of action aligned with the principle of cause and effect. Our thoughts, emotions, physical actions on all levels, and most importantly, the intentions wielded behind all we engage in, creates karmic energy that can either raise the level of love and light in us and the world, or it can equally raise the level of fear and darkness in us and the world. We carry karma with us even after we leave this life, and the soul chooses to reincarnate to transcend negative karma through the process of participating in the collective human experience. We all have karmic attachments, and the more negative the karma, the more we will have experiences that will assist us in the dissolution of karma that has left a negative footprint. This assists the process of ascension for us personally and the collective whole. So let's dive in a bit deeper into how relationships and interactions apply karmically. First, I want to expand on the nature of relationships and the role they play in our development and expansion journey, and then I'll be covering various karmic undercurrents that can be identified within the art of relating and the purpose it serves and the opportunities relationships present to the karmic process. The art of interaction and relationships. It is not others that define and complete us. It is our desire to love, accept, embrace, and embody our own love and vitality that wields the intentions that manifest our reality. In the art of relating and manifestation, these synergistically work in unison to create encounters driven by our internal intentions, so we can tangibly experience opportunities to strengthen the art of relating on a higher vibrational level. So we can also learn valuable lessons about ourselves through the mirror that encounters reflect. The most significant relationship we will ever experience is the one with ourselves. We encounter all manner of diverse relationships through our journey, but each one serves to strengthen us, teach us, elevate us, and expand us on all levels, emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Some relationships and interactions stretch us out of our comfort zone of familiarity to inspire growth and expansion, while other interactions magnify the presence of light, joy, and peace. And then there's some encounters that perpetuate darkness in ego-driven states through individuals choosing to participate and reciprocate lower vibrational energies that perpetuate dysfunction and destructive patterns of behavior. There are relationships we encounter that are co-created contracts that we agree to with other souls before incarnating here. And these contracts are higher level service contracts, but this information does not always apply to everyone in one particular lifespan. I won't be going deeply into this subject, but I am introducing this information for the sake of awareness. There are three commonly known types of higher level contracts, which are karmic, soulmate, and twin flame. And each are very different and serve very clear purposes in our co-created journey through the collective human experience. I don't feel it's accurate to say that every soul has a co-created higher level contract to experience in every lifetime regarding a soulmate or a twin flame contract, but I do personally believe that the majority of relationships we all encounter are serving a karmic purpose of transmuting and healing negative karma or projecting the elevation of positive karma. I also believe that relationships are like large mirrors in the capacity to reflect cycles of karma to the positive or negative. What overall experience we will have in relationships depends solely on the foundation of intention we entered the relationship or interaction with. Intentions set the structure for all experiences we encounter, and relationships are no different. All types of healthy or dysfunctional relationships we pull to us depends on the purity of our hearts and the platform we are most committed to operating from, which is either love or fear. Understanding karma in the art of relating. Karma is intention wielded into various forms of action. Every element of our existence creates karma. Sitting still and meditating in silence creates just as much karma as taking physical action through an activity. A great metaphor for karma on an individual level is like a boomerang, and ripples of water is a great metaphor on a collective level. Like a boomerang, what we set into motion will come back around to us. This is how we as individuals experience and create karma. Like ripples that stem from an action hitting a still pool of water, this is how our individual karma affects the collective whole. I want to discuss the element of karma and the way it contributes to the relationship dynamics and interactions we experience. So let's move on. Relationships and interactions can reflect and mirror back at us negative karmic patterns resulting from dark actions we have subjected onto others. This karmic energy can manifest in so many uncountable ways for every single individual, but it always manifests in ways that will impact every individual differently for the sake of individuals having the opportunity to learn how negative actions towards others and the trauma it causes to others can be felt and experienced ourselves for the sake of growth and expansion. It is important that we all come face to face with the suffering and pain our actions wield into energetic creation. Negative or dark karmic generational cycles are global in this third-dimensional ego-driven world. This is due to the perpetuation of ignorant mindsets, behaviors, and patterns that are cycled or passed down through negative imprinting and conditioning of parental and or societal influences. Our free wills create karmic cycles and experiences, manifest opportunities for every individual to experience energetic polarization of our states of existence. So in other words, we pull to us opportunities to experience negative energy and dark actions that wield suffering and pain on a very personal level, so we learn how it feels. So we will elevate and choose of our own free will to stop subjecting negative actions onto others. And so we're more compelled to open our hearts and operate from the sacred foundation of love while strengthening our ability to feel empathy and compassion, to spiritually elevate and end dysfunctional patterns of ego that promote separation and destruction in this world. People have a choice in these opportunities. They'll either choose to shift blame and create more karma that will require healing either in this life or the next. But by not being willing to exercise accountability and take action in resolving and repairing the trauma and suffering their actions have inflicted onto others, or they will choose to exercise accountability and turn their focus inward and accept responsibility for their actions and the energy that was wielded as a result of their actions that has been projected onto others in the world. And they'll choose to offer the expression of genuine remorse and to aid the healing process for all parties involved. We experience the principle of interconnectedness and how our actions ripple through the cosmos and affect and shift everything around us, resulting not only in how we treat ourselves, but how we treat others. It's teaching us how to be more mindful of our choices and to encourage us to anchor love into our hearts. Relationships and interactions can reflect positive karmic patterns we have extended to others that allows us the opportunity to pay it forward and magnify the elevation of love and light projected into the world to promote unity and ascension on a collective level. Extending kindness with no expectation of a return is one magnificent way to experience this principle. But I also want to point out that ego is subtle. It is so subtle, my friends, and this is where the element of accountability comes into play, because we have to hold ourselves in constant accountability, which requires immense honesty with ourselves to what platform our intentions are extending from. Because if we're trying to go out into the world and show kindness to promote love, the intention that is set into motion before we wield that into tangible action will either make or break whether or not we actually do what it is we're setting out to do. Now, what does that mean? Okay, so for instance, say that our intention is to help someone who's really seriously in need. But the only way that we have conditioned the intention to help this person is they have to listen to some kind of spiel, so to speak, in order for them to receive the act of kindness or the help that they require. This is really transmuting a potentially loving act into a really lower vibrational act of karmic attachment, because love is not conditional, and kindness should never be extended in a manner that is conditional. If you want to help somebody, help them because you acknowledge the fact and your heart is telling you to act on the fact that you want to perpetuate positive energy into the world to promote love, which helps to end dysfunctional negative karma in the world. Listen to your heart and extend kindness, but eliminate any strings attached. This is the only way to elevate the intention behind what you're trying to do in the world. Another example is, and this one is really, really subtle, and it happens to a lot of people more than people give it credit, but that's ego. Say we want to project ourselves in ways that promote positive acts in the world, But say that our base foundational core belief is based off of falseness. Say we have a fear of rejection. And say this fear of rejection is so deep-seated that it has been absolutely conditioned and imprinted as a false core belief. And that false core belief sets the tone and the foundation of how we act in the world. Say we have the best intentions at heart, right? So we try to set an intention to act on that heartfelt action, right? And promote positivity and love in the world. But say that the intention behind us doing it is stemming from that false core belief of fear of rejection. So what's going to happen is our intention that is set before we even wield action into tangible motion is that our intention deep-seated within ego is going to be extending love and kindness for the sake of gaining approval, acceptance. And see, these again are two opposing energies. You cannot take two energies, one being positive and one being lower vibrational, and work them in unison. It doesn't work that way. This is where accountability comes into play. We have to hold ourselves in accountability to what the intention is that we're setting into motion that sets the foundation of action in motion. And this is a perfect example of that. This is why it's so important to go into the shadows, go into the aspects of self that are uncomfortable, and people that have suffered trauma in their lifetime and have been subjected to very negative imprinting and conditioning. It is so important for them to understand self. Because if you haven't healed, if you're still existing in the mindset of a victim, and you're allowing the trauma to define you because you haven't gone into the shadows and healed the aspects that need your attention internally, everything that you try to wield by being loving and kind is always going to be stemming from that unhealed aspect within your core self that is just operating off of fear for the purpose of gaining approval and acceptance. A lot of times people that have suffered trauma have been subjected to imprinting and conditioning that states that I have to act like this or I won't gain acceptance. I have to be this unauthentic version of self in order to gain approval. And it's these deep-seated false core beliefs that are trapped within ego that set the foundation, that wield our intentions into forward action tangibly. This is why it's so important to go into the shadows, face the aspects of trauma that has caused suffering and pain, so that we heal ourselves on a core level. Speaking of how relationships are large mirrors, I stated earlier that the relationship with self is the most important relationship you will ever encounter in this lifetime. And this is a perfect example of us standing in front of a mirror, looking at our reflection back, and getting to the place of love for self that states that we are worthy. Looking at yourself in the eye, despite all of the conditional love you've been subjected to, despite all of the pain that has been subjected onto you by others, how to elevate above the negative attachments to all of this suffering is to love yourself and accept yourself and look at yourself in the eye and say, I am worthy. I am worthy of more than pain and suffering. I am worthy of more than being this false interpretation of what was expected of me to be. I am worthy of loving myself enough to allow myself to speak my truth and be my authentic truth, the way I wanted to express myself way back when I was a kid, and find value in that, enough to love yourself enough to start acting from that lighted, beautiful, authentic core aspect of self. I'm going to go in a little deeper later on another section of this video about generational karmic cycles, so I don't want to really touch on that right now, but the point to healing, truly healing, is to extend love to yourself, because if you don't love yourself unconditionally, you will always be placing conditions on how you extend love and how you receive love from others. And this too is a karmic cycle that must be elevated and healed. This is part of your journey here, experiencing this collective human experience. You came here to help elevate yourself above this negative karmic cycle. And true healing only comes when we choose love for ourselves despite all the suffering. To choose that we are worthy and that we are valuable despite all the rejection of our authentic light. Relationships and interactions can present positive opportunities for karmic cycles we have been subjected to by others, so we can be successful at ending generational repeating karmic cycles of abuse and dysfunctional patterns that perpetuate trauma. It's through our willful unwillingness to participate in perpetuating dark and negative karma onto others, despite the fact that we ourselves have suffered trauma, that creates a massive scale transmuting and dissolution of generational karma of multiple lifetimes in some cases. These are the most challenging of all karmic relationships to experience. Often people who have encountered these karmic relationships really shut down emotionally, mentally, and physically, even spiritually, because they have not healed these deep-seated wounds that are trapped in the victim mindset. It requires a lot of strength to heal from these experiences because the pain and betrayal run so deep. Souls that take this on to experience are immensely exceptional beings of light. I have a lot of respect for these beings who offer themselves in this way to be in higher service to the collective in this absolute purest act of love. They often have a long and very difficult road ahead of them that involves an enormous amount of healing. No matter how unmeasurably difficult the paths that we choose are in this lifetime, we must take comfort in the truth that we are never traveling alone. We have unlimited amounts of beings dedicated to us on these difficult journeys through physicality of the collective human experience. I touched on this a little bit in the previous slide or segment of this video. It's so important. Healing is so important. We must go into the shadows, and we must go into the core and dissect what platform our intentions are being wielded from, whether they're false core beliefs or authentic core beliefs. Relationships and interactions can reflect karmic patterns we have extended to us by others. This often happens in moments when we require extra encouragement and light in our lives. These encounters are especially for the purpose of infusing the truth that we are never alone, and that if we operate from love, belief, and trust, we will always have enough, and that everything is always working to our favor. This expands our ability to embody love deeper into our core belief system that wield our intentions of external actions, so we can see more beauty, more light and love in the world at times when we require it the most. I myself, and I've spoken of this a lot with other people, have had moments that we just hit rock bottom, but there was always someone that appeared to offer kindness, a helping hand with no strings attached, just because they were committed to wielding the powerful force of love into the world. This is how important the impact of random acts of kindness can have. It is the most powerful gift and message all at the same time. When kindness is extended with no strings attached and no conditions involved behind the act, it's a powerful message of love, because love is unconditional. We can also experience these relationships at times in our journey when we're not choosing to elevate out of ego, and we're not reciprocating the expression of love that we are being gifted to us by others. You see it all the time. Someone isn't choosing to be the best version of themselves, and yet the other person who they're subjecting negative actions onto absolutely stands solid in their empowerment of divine love. And they just absolutely refuse to feed into and reciprocate back negative, lower vibrational actions. These relationships are like a wake-up call for the person who is choosing to operate from a lower vibrational standpoint. The person who chooses love and doesn't choose to reciprocate the negative actions, it inspires the other person to awaken their dormant spiritual divinity of light and activate their higher states of consciousness to transmute this karmic attachment to ego and return to wholeness of our divine soul truth and authenticity. It's called opportunity to elevate and awaken. If they don't choose that and soften their hearts, they will be given another opportunity to do so. That's the purpose of the cycling. Everything cycles around to present more opportunities. I've spoken to many people who have chosen during a stress-induced situation with someone to just seriously projecting negative energy at them to react from love and extend kindness, empathy, love, and compassion, despite the other person's negative choices in how they were conducting themselves. And we must learn to elevate the energies and not perpetuate the same ignorant patterns that keep humanity attached to the same dark karmic cycles. We all must do our part And it seems at times that some of us are working harder at elevating the energy of love than others, but that's okay. We must be stronger for those that haven't yet found their own strength. We must be more loving for those that have not reclaimed their sovereignty of light yet. We have all heard that two wrongs don't make a right, and that is absolute truth. Those of us who have ascended into higher states of conscious enlightenment have a greater responsibility to the collective whole to be the walking examples of love, to plant the seeds of light within their hearts, to promote the divine higher dimensional ascension of all life on this planet. Higher level karmic contracted relationships serve to transcend and heal karmic attachments to past lives and are sometimes carried out by the same souls that have encountered each other before, that are committed to ascending into higher dimensional states of light and require the opportunity to dissolve or transmute negative or dark-wielded actions, usually from a past life. In addition, some higher ascended souls will form contracts with souls who are existing in lower dimensional states of ego as a higher service through supporting them through their challenging life of karmic transmutation. If a soul wheels into intention to resolve a large amount of karmic energy in one lifetime, it can be an immense and very intense journey for that soul, and they require added assistance by having a higher level guide by their side to encourage them to be the physical presence of light and love to journey through the adversity. Most karmic contracts co-created to be between specific souls are not always meant to last, and eventually they come to an end when the karma has been amended and the lessons achieved. And at that point, the contract usually ends as well, and they go their separate ways. It is possible that some souls have multiple contracts in one lifetime, though. For instance, one soul can co-create a karmic and twin flame contract in one lifetime to be experienced with another specific soul, or a soulmate and a twin flame contract can be co-created to offer just some examples in one lifetime. I've experienced this truth while working with people through the years and have experienced myself as well, and it usually involves what is called Trinity Soul units. In these cases, not all relationships will dissolve if there is a dual contract that is agreed to. These contracts can be held between one or more people at the same time, or they can also be held with separate individuals in one lifetime. It all depends on the nature of the intention in the contract is serving and the purpose behind it. Be the change you want to see in the world. The moment we open our eyes in the morning, we create karmic energy that is projected externally and internally to be experienced. The very thoughts we have, the mood or attitude we choose, will set the tone for the day ahead and the energy we will wield into action. This is the importance of exercising honest accountability with self and tuning into your higher divine and inherent ability to elevate and heal through shifting negative energies into positive, which is transmutation through the alchemic process, as stated earlier. If we find that we're not being the best versions of ourselves, and this is projecting negative vibrations and inflicting dark energies onto others, we can transmute that. That is everybody's choice to make, and we must make it. As a collective, we must start to hold ourselves in strict personal accountability for the energy we are responsible for wielding that will create positive or negative global impacts on all life. The importance of our focus to our own growth and expansion will promote love and healing on a global level. If people continue to stay in the mindset that it is someone else's problem and that their actions don't really matter that much, we will never ascend on a global level to promote love as the driving force of this world. Every individual has a responsibility to embrace the growth process for sake of spiritual elevation and evolution, yes, but it's going to require everyone choosing to let go of old programming and shedding the unwanted to make room for more light to shine in the world. We essentially have to unlearn everything that we've learned that ego is attached to in order to reclaim our authentic truth that we came into this world with. It isn't as impossible as it sounds. It just starts within the hearts of every individual. What will you choose to project into the world today, tomorrow, and into the future? Only you can decide that. So choose wisely. I just want to offer some ending thoughts before I conclude this video. For those who have suffered trauma as a result of someone subjecting dark actions onto you, hear my voice and open your heart to receive this message of light. You are a divine empowered being of light and love. All the pain, suffering, and trauma you have experienced only defines you as an individual if you allow it to. Stop allowing the offenders to have power over your states of existence by remaining in a mindset of disempowerment. You are what you choose to be every second, minute, every hour of every day. Choose to embrace yourself with love, acceptance, and approval, and you will transmute the deep pain, lack of confidence, rejection, fear, and dark trauma into unlimited strength, sense of belonging, self-worth and value, trust and belief, and light. Choose yourself, choose your heart, and embrace that you are worthy of love and light. Allow your love to elevate your states of existence into empowerment. I also want to encourage you to click the ending slide video, spiritually healing the inner core self. For those that resonate with this, I feel that there's messages in there that would help promote your healing. Thank you for listening. Show support by subscribing and clicking the bell for notifications on upcoming videos. Bye for now.